Hey guys, how are you? First of all, happy, healthy, prosperous, abundant 2025 to all of you watching, whether you're watching me here on January 1st, 2025, or any other day after January 1st. It is in order to say Happy New Year to all of you and those around. So it's great to have you with me. We are definitely rolling in Series 4, which we started actually last year, which was just a day ago. But we started our series for this actually on last week, which was on Saturday, because that's when we started our series for. All right, guys. Well, welcome everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying the holidays with friends, with family, or what have you. And I'm so grateful to have you with me on Inspirations for Your Life podcast here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who I am by now, please allow me to introduce myself. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I'm not only a podcast host, but a podcast coach. I'm also a serial entrepreneur. As we step into 2025, this is a great opportunity to pause, to reflect, and set the stage for the new year, which we're in now. Often we focus on the promises we make at the start of the new year. But without a clear plan of action or the power of accountability, those promises can really fade very quickly. The journey from reflection to mastery often involves just identifying where we want to go, but building the habits and the systems to get us there. That is really, really key. It's about creating momentum that carries us through the challenges and keeps us focused on our promises and lets us explore, ladies and gentlemen, how we can take charge of this new year and turn our aspirations into reality with a powerful mindset and the right tools. So, a lot of people say to me, John, that's impossible. So, I have something I started doing not too long ago, and it goes like this. And this is what I say: impossible good things manifest into my life. IGT. Just remember IGT. Impossible good things manifest in my life. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's going to happen overnight because it won't happen overnight. That's one thing. But what I will tell you is that it will happen over time. The more you believe in yourself, the more that you understand IGT, which is impossible good things manifest in my life, and you believe that. So, number one that we want to talk about today is reflecting on 2024. The lessons that you learned in 2024, many of them we want to call building blocks. And the reflection of that is the first step in setting yourself up for success in 2025. It's about understanding what worked last year and what didn't, reflecting on our actions, decisions, and the lessons learned gives us valuable insights that serves as a foundation for growth. When you acknowledge your wins, both big and small, and learn from the challenges faced, you empower yourself to make smarter decisions in the year ahead. Again, it requires you making a conscious effort, okay, and reflecting on what has been done, what worked, what didn't work, so you can change that. Remember, I said to you before with Einstein, he said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So don't do that because you're just going to get frustrated, right? That is really, really key. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that lessons are building blocks, and they give us clarity and they allow you to build a roadmap that is not only rooted in the past of experiences, but also tailored to your vision for the future. So start where you are right now. Number two, never say it's too late because it isn't. One of the biggest hurdles many face in planning for the year ahead is the belief that it's too late to start if we haven't planned in advance. January 1st might seem like the deadline, and it is for most, but in reality, you could start anytime. It's just it's better to start on a first, right? Like on a first of a month. I mean, it's more of that mental state, right? But you can start anytime you want. Whether it's January 1st or mid-year, taking action is the key and being consistent in the action. The most important thing is to just get started, right? No matter where you are in the process, instead of letting past procrastination hold you back, focus on small, achievable steps that will create momentum. Again, build that level of dopamine in your brain that you'll feel really good, a natural high. And when you do this, instead of letting past procrastination hold you back, you focus on the small, achievable steps that will create the momentum and raise the dopamine. And by starting where you are, you give yourself the permission to grow and evolve, even if you're behind. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, and it is, but really, ladies and gentlemen, it starts with the mindset. Okay, it's all about the mindset. And I said this to you guys before. The reason why impossible things don't happen in your life is because you say they're not going to happen. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that impossible good things manifest in your life. You have to believe that and say that, like is your mantra. Number three, accountability fuels mastery. The journey to mastering your promises or goals in 2025 is never a solo effort or sport. Accountability is crucial in turning intentions into results. By sharing your promises with others, whether it's a coach, a mentor, or a trusted friend, you create and build a system of support. Regular check ins and honest conversations about your progress keep you focused and motivated. Accountability helps you stay on track, especially when obstacles arise. It's the force that keeps you committed to promises, ensuring that you're not just setting them, but actually achieving them one step at a time. Number four, ladies and gentlemen, this is really important. Create systems, not just promises. You want to create systems. I'm even doing this tonight. I'm putting together my calendar. And even though I started some things, I'm still finishing up my system. So my system will be like autonomous. I will just know to do it. All right. That's really important. So promises without systems are just dreams. While dreams are good, promises give us direction, and systems are the daily practice and the routines that keep us moving forward. And a promise like losing 20 pounds is great, but it becomes more achievable when paired with a system such as specific diet or exercise routine or logging your food, etc. Systems work because they transform big aspirations into consistent actions. When you focus on building positive habits and structures that support your promises, you're more likely to stay on track. By the end of the year, the small, consistent actions will add up to significant progress. Now, number five, embrace the messy middle. Okay, the middle gets messy. Let's just face it. Okay, and it's also where the magic happens, but it's also where many people will falter. The initial excitement of new promises often wears off, and the reality of the work sets in. But this is where mastery is truly built. Progress is rarely linear, and it's during this phase when things seem hard that the most growth occurs. Embrace the discomfort, okay, of the middle, and knowing that each challenge is a step closer to your desired outcome. I've said this before, ladies and gentlemen. Practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable, and then it'll seem a lot easier for you. All right, so embrace the messy middle. Whether you're facing self doubt, setbacks, or unexpected obstacles, these experiences are the key opportunities to help you learn and adapt. In fact, they often lead to breakthroughs that move you forward faster. Number six, ladies and gentlemen, bold actions for a bold 2025. To make 2025 truly transformative and better than anything you've ever had, it requires bold action. Bold actions don't have to be big and risky. They simply need to push you outside of your comfort zone. Bold might look like speaking up in meetings, taking on a new project, or making a decision that aligns with your long term vision. Set audacious promises and break them down into manageable tasks. Each bold step you take builds up momentum that propels you forward. And as you challenge yourself to step up, you'll not only surprise others, but you'll surprise yourself too. It is this boldness that will make 2025 a year of extraordinary growth. But you've got to do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, number seven, this is really important. Number seven is review and adapt quarterly. While it's important to start strong, it's just as crucial to check in with your progress regularly. It could be weekly, it could be quarterly, but at least quarterly reviews to allow you to assess what's working and what's not. And these reviews provide an opportunity to make adjustments to your promises, methods, and priorities. A goal that seemed perfect in January might need tweaking as circumstances change, and that's okay. The ability to adapt is what keeps you moving forward and with the purpose and clarity that you need. Regular check ins will give you the flexibility to pivot without losing sight of the bigger picture. All right, this is really important. So, number 8, tools for momentum. Okay, tools for momentum. In addition to a mindset and accountability, which we said is really important to succeeding, having the right tools can make all the difference, from planners, apps that track your progress, to habit building journals and vision boards. The tools you will keep will allow you to stay aligned with your intentions. Okay. Remember, your intentions are what allows you to keep the behavior. The behavior is what transforms your life to achieve those promises that you set for yourself. All right. That is really important. So track those promises. Make sure they're really habit forming and that they do the things you need them to do. Use visual reminders like a vision board. It can help you stay focused on your why. Throughout the year, mobile apps can track your progress and send reminders, helping you stay consistent. The right tools act as reinforcement, ensuring that your promises stay front and center as you build momentum toward your vision. Now, I know you're probably saying, John, it might be very hard to do this, but it's not. The hardest thing, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, is getting started. You heard me. The hardest thing is to get started. So, the longest journey starts with the first step. So, if you don't know how to get started, that's the first thing. And then once you get started, you can always adjust and tweak from there. Now, final reminder is also important. Momentum is the key, and momentum is the driving force that propels us from reflection to action. Reflection is good, but reflection without action is no good, and action without reflection can be wasted. Ultimately, you want to drive toward mastery. The key to a successful 2025 is not in making perfect plans, but in creating consistent movements toward your promises. When you keep the momentum going, even though there's challenges, you'll see your results compound over time. This is really important. Every action you take creates more energy, more opportunities, and more progress. All right. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's the small steps taken consistently that make all the difference in the world. As long as you keep moving forward, the finish line will always be within reach. So, how many of you ever play 52 pickup? Well, you take the cards and you basically just, you just throw them in the air. You kind of like fan them. You just let them go. Well, we call it 52 pickup. And the first time a friend of mine said to me, "Oh, you know," I said, "No, I don't." I said, "Oh, let me show you how it goes." "Oh, it's real simple." So I take the cards. Yeah. I said, "Okay, now you got to go pick them all up." That's the game. Yeah, 52 pickup. There's 52 cards in a deck. Rather than explaining to me, so when somebody says you want to play, "Oh no, no, I don't want to play 52 pickup." I go, "Oh, you don't? No, 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 no. That's when you throw the cards over the room. They have to go pick. Oh, someone did this to you, right? Yeah, I don't want to do that." So, but when you're picking up the cards, you might say, "Gee, John, it's a lot to pick up the cards." But the truth of the matter is, you keep going. You keep picking up your cards, and eventually, you're going to get done. All right. Number 10, call to action. Set and share immediate promises for January as soon as you can. We are at January 1st, 2025. If you're just watching this as this is coming out tonight, the best way to kickstart your 2025 journey is by setting specific, actionable promises for January, measurable goals. Okay. Write them down and share them with someone who you hold accountable and will hold you accountable. By setting the tone for the first month, you'll build the momentum needed for the entire year. So, as you commit to your first steps, you'll begin to see the power of accountability and action in creating lasting change. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now and let January be the catalyst for a bold, purpose driven year. Now, I know all this sounds like, really difficult stuff. The truth of the matter is, it's not difficult. You've got to get your mind out of the gutter, and you've got to realize that you've got to take consistent steps. You got to take consistent action. Um, and I think the most important thing is you have to want to do this. And so if you have the desire to do it, but your why is not loud enough, meaning that your reason for doing this doesn't strike a deep enough chord with you, you're not going to achieve what you've set out to do. So you've got to make sure that what you're doing is in line with your purpose, is something that you want to do. All right. Now, maybe the tasks you don't want to do, but you do want to get to that result, right? We often say, climbing a mountain isn't easy, right? But you do want to get to the top of the mountain, or you do want to get to the end of the hike. So you might have to buck up a little bit and do some things you don't like, you know, um, dealing with some rocky conditions, or being out there and navigating the terrain, which might not be easy if you're new to hiking. And so I want to share with you the importance again of reflecting. Reflecting is not when you close your eyes or you sit back like, oh, woe is me. Why did I do this? That's not what reflecting is. Okay. That's feeling sorry for yourself. Reflecting is when you have a moment to replay your life and things that have been going on and saying, oh, yes, I get it. That worked out well, or that didn't work out well. And then you learn from those little movies you played in your head. And those movies, okay, I'll call them, allow you to learn. All right. So the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is whether you're just starting out or you've been doing this for a while, you have to start where you are. Everyone starts at a different place. And that's okay. And it's never too late to start. Even though I tell you should start January 1st, it's never too late to start. I'd rather see you start than never start, right? I think that is a very, very important thing. And if we understand that, then we are half the way to our desires. Because you see, consistency is important, and then reflecting is important. But then taking the time to make sure that we check in with ourselves regularly, could be weekly, could be at least quarterly, whatever it is, you've got to make sure that you check in on a regular basis. If you don't, well, you're going to be unhappy, ladies and gentlemen, with the results. That's important. Accountability, ladies and gentlemen, fuels mastery. You might say, gee, accountability seems annoying. No, accountability is a way to make sure that you are staying on track. I like to call accountability taking your temperature. And I think it's important to take your temperature often. It doesn't just need to be quarterly, although that's what a lot of people recommend. I think you should be taking your temperature like at least once a week. Make sure things are going the way you want them to. And then understanding that now that you're accountable, you're going to reach that because you're holding yourself to this higher standard. I also said to you, create systems, not just the promises. So a lot of times we want to do something, but there are a lot of steps to it. If we create a system, it's going to allow us to break things down in a lot easier fashion. I mean, that's really the truth. And something that can do your process over and over again and help you, well, that's a great thing. So building systems is key to helping you achieve success sooner. Again, there's always a messy middle, okay? But it is where the magic happens. And a lot of people will fall off the train at the messy middle. People get excited, people fret, they worry, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm here," but then I'll give you a perfect example. I was dreaming last night, and this is a very interesting dream. So I had a dream that I was driving on a road that was so narrow it was barely possible on this bridge uh, to make it. And so that sounds like something that's crazy. So dreaming of driving on a very narrow road and a bridge where it's barely possible to make it symbolizes the feeling of being in a challenging or precarious situation in your life where you need to navigate a difficult path with very little room for error, potentially requiring great focus and careful decision making to succeed. When I was in this dream, there was a friend of mine that was in the dream. Now, this was not a real friend of mine, it was just somebody that was a friend in this dream. And I was driving to, I think it was some part in Connecticut, and I had driven to Connecticut many times, and I never remembered this bridge. And so when I got there and he was driving me back to New Jersey, and I was like, well, did I have to go over this bridge coming? He's like, yes, you did. I'm like, I never remembered going over this narrow bridge coming over here. But I saw him as he was driving out, and I was like, this is nuts. Like, because the car's like half off the road. I'm like, this is insane. And so when I was having this dream, the first thing is, well, I'm not taking that bridge again. Like, I'm going to have to find a different way to get to Connecticut if I want to get to Connecticut. And I said, well, I'm going to take another way. I could fly or I could take the train because the train doesn't use that bridge, it uses another bridge. And I said, why did they do this? Oh, they cut back. And, so they took half the bridge apart. So now you have to be really careful so you don't fall off it. I was like, really? Like, it was like one tire was on the bridge and the other tire wasn't on the bridge. It was like for a little bit of a ways, the other tire was like not on for, I'm gonna say maybe 500 feet, and then it would be fine again. Then it would go back and it would change. I'm like, this is nuts. And so as I'm thinking about this now, because this was just last night, it makes me think that sometimes the challenge that we see looks more difficult than it actually is. And so when we got on this journey, I was in the car with him, I'm like, it seemed impossible. And we did it. And so this is where I go back to my new mantra, which is impossible good things manifest in my life, which in this case was safety, right? I didn't know how I was going to do this. This is like insane. So, I got to tell you something else too. When you become more focused, a lot changes, right? A lot changes. And I say this to you because I think some people don't realize, what it means to focus, or why we focus. I think that's probably an important thing. And so when we think about focusing for a moment, I think that can make some people very nervous. It can make people very worried. And so what I want to say to you is that you can make a real difference in your life. You can make a real difference, but the key is that you've got to believe. That is the key, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that is like the big, big key. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that it's not gonna be the easiest thing for you. Okay, it's not the easiest thing. And so by saying it's not the easiest thing, what I'm really saying is that it's about you and what you're doing in life. So we make things sometimes more difficult than we have to. And you might say, John, that's a little bit nuts, but I just proved this to you. So this bridge that my friend was taking all the time, he's like, it's always like this. It's been like this for over a year. And coming over, I never noticed it. But then coming back, somehow I just gravitate. I'm like, was it like this? And he said, yeah, it was exactly like this coming over. But it never like even dawned on me because I was never putting any attention on the bridge. I was just driving. So sometimes things in our lives just happen because we're driving, because we're behind the wheel, because we're doing what we need to do, and we're not focused on like what it seems like, right? Maybe you're trying to reach a large audience and like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm ever going to reach these people. Like, this seems nearly impossible. It's not impossible. It comes down to your belief. And my new mantra, which is IGT, impossible good things manifest in my life. And so having that belief means that the word impossible is suddenly becoming possible. Impossible good things manifest in my life. So you see what I'm doing there? We're kind of like changing your belief to thinking something is impossible, it really is possible. You could also say all the impossible things are now possible. I like just saying that impossible good things manifest in my life. Does the same thing, does exactly the same thing. Well, we are now in January 1st. If you have not had the opportunity to write out your plans and figure out what you're doing, what are you waiting for? You know, it's January 1st. Most of the people are not going back to work until tomorrow or even next week. So why don't you take the day if you still have a day off and go through that? If not, definitely sit down this weekend and make sure that you do what you need to do. This is really, really key, everyone. I know that when we talk about goals, because the show's always about, well, we talk about promises, but most people call them goals interchangeably. And the reason I don't call them goals is because a goal is something many people miss. Right? Many people will miss what a goal is. But what's interesting about this is that even though they miss it, when you think about a promise, it's like something you have to do. You feel really badly if you miss a promise. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Do check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I will catch you guys real soon. Be well, everyone.